Okay, I was asked to make this shorter and more understandable. So these are the three MUFON reports that are on one UFO that's real. All these reports are lies. So basically, starting here, this is 2015. This is Daniel J. Snow out of MUFON. He basically says that I filed these MUFON reports, me, Mike Brown. So I filed these MUFON reports, and now Daniel has looked at them, and he has just said that he has seen the video 10 times. And he just gives me an example of what he needs. Like, well, he says it's a street lamp that he sees, and that I just need to provide him more information, like more on the reports. So he goes on to explain that what it is what I'm calling a UFO, he's calling a street lamp. So right here, I'll have the UFO, and then he'll just say, well, that's a street lamp. And so he'll explain this by making this grid over top of the UFO that I have. And he'll just say, well, there's a light in the background, and he'll call that the you call that a satellite, but that's actually a jet that's going outbound. See, so he'll call it also the International Space Station. He'll say it's inbound like this, traveling from west to east. So he'll go, it was first seen at number 1. So he'll have a number 1 up here, and he'll go, it was last seen at number 2. So he'll have a number 2 down here, but it was an outbound jet. So it was taking off, and they get that backwards. So he'll end up by saying that this is, well, this is 2015. This is all in February. He'll say that it's a hoax keystroke. So right here he says hoax, and then he says keystroke. I don't know if that means maybe something, some kind of code word among them. But he had said that this was all a satellite, and it could be explained by showing that there are event times of the satellite traveling. And it was right around this time. But it's not a satellite. No. So he says that the video proof was untruthful, and no object or pursuit aircraft is visible on video. But see, he's just making up a story that there's pursuit aircraft, because what happens is when I gave my report, I had said that I gave up right here the pursuit of, of going northeast, rising sun side, because I'd given out of further pursuit the video. Well, see, I had said right here, I let it go, that I let the UFO go when video was a fail, etc., and allowed it to travel off without further pursuit, going northeast, rising sun side in its straight line path. So I gave up the pursuit of video, but they've got it down where there's no pursuit aircraft in the video that they can see. However, it's just a scam, because I'm not talking about a pursuit aircraft. So that whole report is bogus right there, because they don't really look at the UFO. They just use their eyeball and say, well, that's a street lamp. And then they call the jet a satellite. So did not do anything that was impressive. So all of a sudden I'm like, well, I've got to look at some more reports. I go to Mark D'Antonio around May of 2019, and he responds back that now that I finally have your video, I too will look at it. So Mark D'Antonio then doesn't do very much. And it turns out, short time later in July 2020, his boss at MUFON gets busted for online antics against the youth. And so they took him out as leader of MUFON. Of course, he was telling D'Antonio what to do. So in the meantime, I had to go to Doug Wilson at MUFON. This will be August 24th of 2020. I go to Doug Wilson. He says, you asked for my professional opinion in regards to your materials. And he just basically says the mercury light and the UFO are one and the same. So he concludes that by looking at this photo here. I had sent him a picture of the mercury light on the side of a steel building. Here's the steel building. And I also sent him a picture of the UFO from the video. So here's the UFO. He says with all his lines that he made all these lines and arrows. He said that they're one and the same, that this beam here is this beam here, and that this is this and this is that. So he says basically these objects are one and the same to him. And then he'll also look at a photograph, and you can see clearly right here, I've embedded this picture within a picture, you know, and yet he's drawing these arrows to show that he can see the outline. He sees that you put it there, and he said it's all made up. And here's me standing down here, and he, you know, it's all white around here like broad daylight. It's a silhouette, but he's like, oh yeah. So you're looking at the jet up here, you know, and there's just the jet that's well, it's pretty much clipped off there at the corner up at the top. That's nothing really unusual. He's proud to call that a hoaxed image, but I'm just showing where everything was, you know, and he don't understand. And I go to him, I go, are you altogether confident? I said, message received and understood, yet are you altogether confident in your report to me? And he said, as confident as I can be given the quality of data I had to work with. So that was August 26th, 2020. So I had to go to another person, and I decided I would go to a guy that they called Ken St. John. I talked to him September 3rd of 2020. I told him that the UFO is on the right side of video. Security light or the mercury light's on the lower left, right? And you send him this, and he gets it wrong. He'll say, because there's urgency, because of the urgency of your request, we placed a priority on the analysis. Please define that, well, it's not what you thought. So he takes the UFO I have as a picture. He takes that off the video. And way up there is the jet. You can't see it. So he's going to enhance it because it's no enhancement. He enhances it. Now you can see the jet way up there, that little dot. So here you have the UFO under enhancement. And he's calling it a, I guess nothing, a street lamp here. He says it's a street lamp. Pretty plain right there. He says street lamp. And he don't care. So the jet is way up there. And that's just a jet. And it's called a satellite, the ISS, by the other MUFON reports. These MUFON reports are no good. So you keep looking, and he's like, here's all the blinking intervals. Blinks at 17 seconds, 17.03, 17, 06, 18 seconds, 0.03. So these are all the jet intervals of the light blinking. And so he just concludes it out. It's nothing. I mean, to him, it was a waste of time. So Mark D'Antonio, he says that it's your one singular photo. He says that in October of 2020. One singular photo to this man. So he doesn't look at it. Says it comes across as somewhat arrogant. So he's suggesting that I be more careful. But however, if he's got one singular photo and he does not have the video, there's a scam. He said basically the streetlight artifacts. He says anyone can easily suggest it's a streetlight artifact. So he's giving a pass to anybody that wants to call it a streetlight, and he'll give it a pass. He'll say so too. He'll agree with you. That's him saying it's a streetlight, and he don't care. So you see, it's a scam overall. So I hope I've explained it, because this art prize is another kind of a scam. Here's the UFO at the top, and here's the art prize picture. As you see, it is the same. So you'll go and check this out in my other video linked to this channel. So I hope you understand that the UFO is real, and there's just some simple scams that are just passed along upon it to make it look worse than it is. Thank you very much.